kind of sit down and film like a resolutions, goals video, and I still want to, but my heart was sort of pulling me to film one last video for you guys for 2016. And because YouTube has been such a big part of 2016, I kind of really felt like I wanted to. I felt like I wanted to do one more video, one more like little recap, highlight, look back at the year, little passing the torch on to 2017, which I believe is going to just be the best year ever. And I know that 2016 for like the planet wasn't exactly like the best year, and a lot of people are kind of, you know, bidding farewell to 2016 joyfully. And I for this video at least will just be speaking about my own like personal experience in this year for me. And in that regard, in a very small personal sense, 2016 was a great year. It was challenging. It had, like, I went through some really challenging times, but it was a year where, and this is gonna sound super dorky and like so cringy, but it was a year where like I felt like I stepped into my own and I kind of stood on my own 2 feet. The beginning of the year, it's funny because we started the year off knowing that we wanted to move to Florida. And I knew in January, I was like, I had started auditioning again, like heavily for things in Florida, like winter of 2015. So when 2016 rolled along, we were like already planning our move to Florida. Like, we knew that it was what we wanted to try and do. And in my like heart, I was like, it's what I want. You know, that's it. I'm done with New York. I just like need the opportunity. And so in January, you know, that's what we were kind of focused on, working on, was sort of like regardless, you know, when are we moving, regardless of jobs, offers, whatever. So then in February, which is funny because I feel like February was sort of a very pivotal moment, and it was so early on in the year. In February, my mom, me, my aunt, and Jeff went to go see Kyle Cease. And I almost forgot about this moment, funny enough, even though it was the moment. It was, Kyle Cease, for those of you who don't know, is like a motivational speaker meets comedian. He approaches things in a very relatable way. And, you know, he has so many insights, and he's just such a wonderful person to keep up with. And I think he's actually releasing a book next year. I hope he is. And he has a YouTube channel. He's fantastic. And everything that he says is just, you know, hits the nail on the head for sure. And it's just so life-changing and life-affirming, and it's great. He's very much like Tony Robbins, just great. So we went to see him, and, you know, so many things changed. And I remember saying that night that we went to see him that I really, you know, I wanted to move to Florida, and that was my goal. Because at one point we like kind of, you know, we picked someone in the audience to talk to, a stranger, and we talked about where we wanted to be in a year. And funny enough, I said, I want to be in Florida. I think it's the right move for us. Anyway, the person that I ended up talking to she is a acclaimed Broadway director, and, you know, Tony nominated, a fantastic human being, just the loveliest. And she, this year, after our like chance meeting, exchanged information with her and with Jeff, because for those of you who don't know, my husband is in musical theater, and so it was just like the most serendipitous meeting. And so Jeff and her have actually worked together numerous times throughout this year, and it was just such a blessing. It was such a blessing, and like such a wonderful chance meeting. And so in, you know, February happened, and March, I think, was when Jeff received the offer to come down to Florida. And it was then that we were like, oh my gosh, this is happening, amazing, like so cool. And I may have filmed like a few videos during that time, but my heart was really dead set on performing. And I thought to myself, you know, when we move down to Florida, that's it. I'm only auditioning. I'm taking a break from Pilates, I'm taking a break from dancing, I'm taking a break from everything. So then you know, it's funny, also during that time when I was living in Manhattan, I started dancing a lot, and was probably like physically at like my peak. Like my body had never been like more in shape, more fierce. Like my technique, everything was so amazing. And I participated in Broadway Dance Center is like a really big dance studio in Manhattan, and every year they put on like a student showcase. And if you take like a particular choreographer's class a lot, they will agree to or ask you to be in their piece, and like it's like almost like a recital for Broadway Dance Center. So I was in that, and that was such a beautiful, amazing moment, because for the first time in my life, one, I like found a choreography style that I felt really suited not only me but like my soul. Two, like the fact that like I was even asked to be part of it was just amazing, and like everyone who I danced with was amazing. It was just such a beautiful moment. But I remember thinking like, oh, of course, you know, like of course this is happening like right as we're leaving. Like of course I'm, you know, creating these moments and like finding this joy in the city as we're leaving. But, you know, I was very grateful that I was able to do it and had the experience. And then, of course, Jeff and I came down to Florida. And for the first few weeks, you know, well, when we first moved down here, I thought, you know, I had this urge and this pull to film a video, film a, you know, how, like, why, like, guess what? We're living in Disney World now, because we pretty well do. And I thought to myself, you know, I hadn't been keeping up with my YouTube channel. I hadn't been posting regularly at all. But part of me was like, you know what, I have the time. I literally, like, I'm doing nothing now. I don't have no job. Like, my jobs are to audition. So while I have the time, why don't I just start filming again? And I did. And, you know, all of a sudden, then I had a car. And so I thought, you know, let me just try car vlogging. Why not? And I'm so happy I did, because I feel like I was really able to document like those first, like the first month and a half to 2 months that we were down here. And I was so hell-bent on, you know, being a performer at Disney World or Universal, anywhere. And I was auditioning like crazy, and you guys saw, because I was car vlogging the whole thing, kept getting rejected. And then at one point, to be in the entertainment industry, you have to have very tough skin. And some people can audition like mad throughout the year and not let it get to them. And either those people are very young or they just have a super great mindset. And unfortunately, I'm just not one of those types of people. After like, you know, 2 months of auditioning nonstop and getting cut all the time, I felt like I needed a break. And it was like weirdly, you know, it's funny, it was like weirdly discouraging, but then at the same time I was kind of like realistic about it and thought, you know, that's okay. Like, because we also moved down here for the lifestyle was such a big part of it. And, you know, having like this gorgeous apartment and so much space, and it was quiet, and, you know, that was all part of the deal as well. And so I thought, you know what, I can enjoy that. It was around the time also that I like had, you know, was accepted the job at the Pilates studio, and like life was fine. And then Jeff left, and I never explicitly told anyone, like told you guys in a video that Jeff was leaving. I did end up telling y'all like at the end of it, because I was nervous, and I went through the whole thing about why, but just wasn't sure. And, you know, honestly too, was like kind of unsure about like, you know, filming, and like didn't know where YouTube was going, if it was going anywhere. But Jeff leaving, funny enough, although it was like one of the, you know, it's never fun when we're apart. And although like I don't like it when we're apart, nor do I like wish for us to ever be apart, it was one of the most necessary, amazing moments of my year. It was about, I want to say July, August, September, and October, at the end of July. So about 3 months and a bit that he was gone. And I had, you know, my dad came to visit me, Caitlin came, Frank and Keith came, and it was just, I was so happy to have those visitors. But the in-between times were really when I felt like I came into my own. And, you know, the emergency vet visit with Elsie, and my car breaking down, which I never like quite put that video up, although I still have the footage because it's so ridiculous. Like, it came after like a whole string of things, like just everything that could have possibly given me anxiety or trialed me in some sort of way while Jeff was gone happened. And it was just a moment in time where I was like, I can't believe all of these things are happening, But, hi, like, look, they're all happening while I'm here by myself, and I have to deal with them. No one else can deal with them, just me. I have to deal with them. And I did, and I feel like I can't step into the person I want to become, which is like a self-sufficient grown-up, and I want to have children, and I want to have babies very soon. And I don't think I could be confident in that decision, confident in becoming a mother, if I hadn't gone through some of these things and known that when worse comes to worse, I can take care of myself, and I can take care of the people around me, or the very little people around me, very little animals, and I can do it. I can do it. I can stand on my own 2 feet, and I can do it. And again, that sounds so freaking cringy, but I would never have learned that had we still been living in New York. I would never have learned that had Jeff been here that whole time, because I would have just leaned on him, like, you know, I was sort of like that I was used to doing, and that would have been that. And so although that time period was very hard, and I never wish for us to be apart, I can look fondly back on those months and think like, wow, those months and him being gone, and those hard times I went through have made me such a stronger person and such a stronger woman, and I feel so great about it. And then he came back, which was amazing, and by that time, to be honest with you guys, we had already talked about our living here, and how, you know, it's not the place for us. And it's so insane to think that, to put the whole year into perspective, and to think that, wow, before the year was even over, we had begun brainstorming our move back to New York. Now, here's the thing, I don't regret, and this is a whole other story, and like, I will 100% let you guys know dates and times and everything when we decide to go back to New York. But I don't regret the decision to move down here at all. I think it was necessary, and it was so part of like my life path, and so part of our life path. But when he came back, we both kind of knew that this, you know, we recognized this time period for what it was, but knew that our time in Florida and here was limited, which is hilarious, because it was around the same time that I received an email from Universal about the Macy's job. And to be honest, I had stopped auditioning. I wasn't really taking dance class. I was just kind of like, I looked at the email and I thought, well, shit, like, I might as well do it, because, you know, I auditioned for it and it might be fun. It's 6 weeks long. Like, who really cares? You know, if I hate it, doesn't matter. Like, it's gonna be over in 6 weeks. If I love it, at least, like, you know, I was so, like, careless about it, you know? And so I was like, fine, I'll do it. It is what it is. So then, we went home for Thanksgiving, and that was amazing. And it was around that time, too, that I was like, wow, I really love YouTube. Like, I mean, you guys know, I pretty well daily vlogged for, you know, the whole fall and winter season. And it was so amazing. And I knew around, like, September, October, I just knew, I was like, I love this so much, and this is where I want to put my heart into, and my creative energy. I love it. And so I think that also played into the whole, like, reaction to the Universal offer as well, because I was kind of like, well, I really love YouTube, and, like, I love making videos. Like, I don't know, I didn't feel like I wanted to go back to that sort of past life, my performer life. It just wasn't for me. But I also was like, you know, I'm not going to turn it down, because I worked hard and auditioned for this opportunity. So then we went home for New York, went home for Thanksgiving to New York, and it was like the most amazing, wonderful trip ever. And it was such an effort, what word am I looking for? It was a reassurance that being in New York was what Jeff and I really wanted, and where our hearts are pulling us, and family, friends, everything. We just needed to be there. And leaving leaving was so difficult, and it was horrible. And it was funny because it's like I came back from there thinking like, oh, I don't want to do this Universal job. All I want to do is go home. And honestly, the first day of Universal, I remember texting Jeff and being like, I need to brainstorm ways either I can get fired or quit. Like, I don't want to do this. I hate it. Like, I can just tell I hate it. By the second day, third day, I was like, you know what? Okay, fine. Maybe I don't hate it. Maybe I can grin and bear it for the next month. Because again, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, who really cares? Well, this Universal job, my friends, has been the biggest blessing, the best part of this whole year. And not for the job. I can dance and perform anywhere, everywhere in between, fine. Truly for the people, truly. I am so happy that I met this group of ladies. Like, I can't get over just how wonderful everyone is, how it's the most beautiful, perfect way to end the whole year. And I've been rambling for so long, I'm already 16 minutes long, but gosh, I literally had I had no expectations going into this. I didn't know what to expect, what to think, anything. And this experience turned out to be better than like my wildest dreams. Like, I could not have even come close to predicting that this was what this experience was going to be like, and the people that I was going to meet, and just so wonderful. So yeah, what a year. Like, just what a year. I don't know. It's just, the year itself had its ups and its downs and crazy turns and twists. And we moved from New York to Florida. We drove straight through 20 hours in the car. We started new jobs, new lot, everything. It was just, of course it was a really crazy, hectic year, but I also feel like it was such a beautiful year, and that, I hope I can speak for Jeff when I say like that the both of us, I think, have just come into our own so much. And I feel more empathetic. I feel more compassionate. I feel more open emotionally, and I want to continue doing that. And I'm going to make a whole video on my like New Year's resolutions and goals and stuff, so I won't go into that now, but I really just wanted to kind of do a little rewind. More so just for me, so I could like really think back on the year. And I love New Year's, and I love the idea of kind of looking back and being grateful and appreciative for the past year, but then also looking ahead and being really excited for like the beautiful things that are to come. And so yeah, that was my whole ramble on this past year. And guys, you were such a huge part of it, such a beautiful huge part of it. And I know that there are people out there who don't really comment on videos, who just watch them, and to everyone out there who comments, who doesn't comment, who watches maybe not every single one of my videos, but some of them, to those people that watch every single one, I just love you all so much, and I wish you all the best in 2017. I hope you all have a wonderful, safe, happy, healthy New Year's Eve, and I will see you all on Monday. For those of you who don't know, my new upload schedule is going to be Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Mondays and Wednesdays will be sit-down videos, and Wednesdays will be sort of like weekly vlogs. But yeah, I love you all so much, and I will see you in the new year. Bye, guys.